Alright, so onto the corn and the onions. What I'm going to do is just cut off this end, and I'm going to probably trim off this end. And remember to save that for your compost or for your birds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 3 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut them once here and once here. And what you do is you want to get a thick knife like this one. And the reason why you want to get a thick knife is because this is large, goes right through, and it gives you really good support. So go ahead and cut down the middle, and now you got 3 nice pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these. Cut off the end pieces since they're not that attractive. Chop. Now I got 3 pieces again. And 1, 2, and I got 3. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I'm going to have 15 of these. That's going to be very nice. Now, by cooking this along with your pork roast towards the end would be a good idea, because this will add a lot of flavor along with the center here. So this is good flavor here. So this is what you end up with. All of this delicious corn. And my potatoes and the carrots. Now I'm going to put all this extra to the side because I don't want to throw that away. I'm going to put that in my compost. Let me rinse this off real fast. What I use to rinse off any of the vegetables, meats, or anything that I use, I like to use just a little bit of bleach and water, and I put it inside of a container, and I just kind of rinse the board off, and I pour it over. The important thing about a board is, I want to show you guys something. When you are preparing meat, this is the side that has no little, what do you call it? You know, where you guys see a little bit all the way around the edge. It's a little ditch. This side is for your fruits and vegetables. This side, see the little ditch here, is for all of your meats. And the reason why this is here is because when you're cutting the meat here on the board, all of the juices will go right here and store right on the edge. So you want to pick this up nicely, and you want to go ahead and dump it into your sink and rinse it off. And again, use your water and bleach solution. So let me do the onions here. Alright. So what I did is you have a whole onion here. And this onion's a large onion, and I'm going to go ahead and do a whole onion. Peel off the first layer. Don't forget to save this for your compost. The second layer actually looks a little rough, so I'm going to pull that off too. And I'm going to chop these up kind of chunky. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this again to the carrots and the potatoes, and I'm going to leave them whole for now. I'm not going to try to open them up and spread them out because I don't want them to mix with my potatoes and carrots just yet. So let me show you a few more things. So here we have the potatoes, the carrots, the onions left whole, and my corn. I'm going to be using some chicken broth. This is fat-free chicken broth. It's also reduced sodium. The reason why I buy reduced sodium is because 2 reasons. For one, this was on sale for $1, and I've had it for about 6 months now. And 2, I can add my own salt, so I don't really need the extra salt in there because sometimes some of these things can be really salty. The other thing I'm going to add is also some vinegar. And the reason why I'm going to do the vinegar is just to bring out the flavor. And I want to go ahead and show you guys now. This is the roasted pork. I turned it on its side because I want to cook all the corners. And I turned down the heat low. So as you can see, it looks really nice. And I'm going to go ahead and raise the heat up a little bit. Now that I've raised the heat just a little bit, I want to go ahead and add a little bit of the vinegar. But before I do that, I'm going to take this roasted pork out. It's a large one. And I'm going to get rid of some of this grease here. I'm going to be very careful to just get rid of the grease and not the little bits and stuff because I want to keep that one. So I'll see you guys on the next. Alright, so I took out my pork roast and I got rid of a lot of grease. It was like probably a half a cup of grease. I raised up the temperature, and so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my roast back into the pan. And I went and did all sides. And so the first thing I'm going to do is add some vinegar. So the amount of vinegar I'm going to add is actually not really measured. It's just enough to pick up the flavor on the bottom. So I would say I probably add about 1/4 of a cup of vinegar. Now what I'm going to do, ooh, that smells good. I love vinegar. Now what I'm going to do is add my chicken broth. I'm going to go ahead and add the entire container. And this chicken broth is nice and clean and clear, so it's nice and clean. Gosh, that was a lot. These are 32 ounces, which is about 2 pounds. So I'm only going to add one of those. That is perfect. And I'm going to try. Okay, so there's no salt to it. And the vinegar that's on there is just to pick up the flavors and to scrape up the bits, and that just add a little acidity. So I'm going to go ahead and cook this up, and when I come back I'm going to go ahead and add all of the vegetables, and I'm going to cook the vegetables for about 35 minutes towards the end of this process. Now this in here, I'm going to bring up the water just a little bit higher. I'm going to bring it up to almost halfway on this roast, and I'm going to go ahead and cook this roast for about 2 hours on my stove top, and I'm going to put a lid on this so that way it'll be nice and tight, and it'll start to do its thing and cook up and get nice and tender, and it'll of course get a little color in there. So I'll show you guys the last step, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, it's me, Charlie. So I'm gonna do a quickie on this. Whew, steamy, isn't it? So as you can see, I have my roast pork in this pot, and it's been bubbling away. And I actually turned it off and went and did a few errands and came back and turned it back on. So it's been probably cooking for a total of an hour, really, even though I've been gone for like 4 hours. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to start adding the corn. The whole corn's in there. So let me go ahead and add the corn in here. And whew. So by doing this now and adding the corn in there, the good thing is there's very little moisture in here. So I don't have to worry, or not very little moisture, but there's not that much broth in here just yet. So by me putting the corn in here, it's going to give it enough time to steam up and add some more flavor to this roast pork. I'm going to go ahead and cook this for about a half hour, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my carrots, potatoes, and some more onions. I did add a little bit of onions in here, half the onions that you saw in the last video. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of the vegetables in about a half hour, and then after that I'm going to cook it for another half hour, and then it'll be done. So alright, so we added the carrots and the potatoes and the onions. So the last step is just to add a little bit more seasoning and put a little bit more water. And I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and I'm going to let it cook for the final 30 minutes, and then from there it'll be ready. So I'll show you the final product once it's done, and we'll see you guys on the next video.